Cece and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video we're going to be getting a little bit up close and personal, and we're going to be going on a tattoo tour. So as you can probably see already, I'm absolutely covered in tattoos. The minute I turned 18 I started to go and get tattoos, and to be honest, for me, I just like how they look on the body. I think they're beautiful, it's artwork, and I'm just always such a big appreciator of them. Now when it comes to the question of how many tattoos do I actually have, I'll be honest with you, I have no idea. I've worked out I've probably got close to about 40-ish tattoos on there, but bearing in mind this one here technically should count as all one piece, but I got things at different times. We'll go into that in more detail in a little bit. We are going to go through my first ever tattoo, why I like getting tattoos, if any of my tattoos actually have any meaning, and just let you have a little close-up personal look. And we'll also talk about my personal pain tolerance on what was the worst tattoo I've ever got. But without further ado, let's just get into it. Now, a little cheeky ask, if you do like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. I do also have an Instagram page which I post plus size fashion ideas, which you can find here, and I also have a TikTok account too, which you can find here as well. But yeah, let's get into it. First things first, let's talk about my first ever tattoo, and it is this little bad boy here. Now I got this pretty much the minute I turned 18. Probably my only tattoo that actually has a meaning to it. When I was younger, I struggled awfully with mental health problems. I was extremely anxious. I found it really hard to talk to people in a social setting, and so I was referred to, in the UK we have this child mental health service. I was referred to that, and they taught me techniques on how I could calm myself down. Now one of the techniques that I was taught was to clap a rhythm, so like this, whenever I was feeling anxious, to get my focus on the rhythm instead of my head just going in a massive whirl. And it started off with me just tapping really simple rhythms, and then throughout my teenage years I discovered my love for minimalist classical music, and a love for this composer called Steve Reich came about. And if you've ever heard of Steve Reich, one of his pieces is called Clapping Music. It has a pattern, and it's basically just a piece where people are clapping but in different times, and I just focused on it. My original clapping rhythms that I had all kind of went away, and I started to really focus on this intense clapping rhythm. So something like, and then they do that over and over again at different times. And it is really good if you like minimalist music. I would highly suggest listening to it if you need something just to focus on for a little bit. As I turned 18, I thought, what better tattoo to get than that on me, because at the time I didn't know whether I wanted a lot of tattoos. I knew I wanted a tattoo, so I thought, let's go in and let's get my first ever tattoo, which would be that. If you can see, you've got the do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do. I like the story behind it. It is probably the only tattoo that has any meaning to me. It's not the best tattoo in the world, if I'm being brutally honest, but you know what? I love it. I would never get it covered up or anything. And it just reminds me every day that I can get through things, which is a bit cheesy. Yeah. But that was my first ever tattoo. In terms of time, I think it took about 10 minutes. It wasn't a very long tattoo, and I was absolutely terrified. I literally thought I was gonna die because everybody told me how painful tattoos were, and I got it done, and it really wasn't that bad at all. I remember looking at it afterwards and going, oh, okay. And then that started the tattoo addiction. Now we're going to move on and talk about the rest of my arms. So I'm going to go piece by piece, what I think is the chronological order of when I got these tattoos. I might be wrong, but I don't know. So you can have a little close-up of all of them. So next tattoo that I got was a little music symbol here. Now when I was younger, I loved music. I used to play the flute, I loved composing, I still do to this day. I love classical music. It's one of my all-time favorite genres of music, and this was me trying to get meaning out of my tattoos originally, so I thought, this means something to me, I'm gonna get a tattoo out of it. But in reality, it is just a music symbol. Next up is this moon crescent symbol that you can see here. I got this done a couple weeks after my second tattoo because I wanted to start to get into bigger pieces. Now this tattoo has absolutely no meaning. I can't remember where I saw it, but I really liked the design. I thought, let's go for it. It was my first ever kind of hour-long tattoo, and the reason being is, if you can see, there are loads and loads of thin lines in there. Over time, the thin lines have diminished and it's starting to go into one big tattoo now. So one thing I would suggest is, if you are going to get a tattoo, try not to get it with loads and loads of little lines so close together, because over time and as your body heals, it will just merge into one big piece. So far it is holding up very well. I do like it, and it was the start of my sleeve. Next up is a quote I've got on my arm. I'll insert a picture because if I do that it shows upside down, but it's just there, and it says, "The beginning is always today." This was another attempt of me trying to make a meaningful tattoo, and I just wanted something as a reminder that every day you wake up is the beginning of something new, and it's all about taking the challenges and all that jazz. I got it, funnily enough, in Ayia Napa, and I wanted a tattoo, and tattoos were cheap, so I wouldn't suggest getting a tattoo from Ayia Napa, but that's where I got it done. I'm amazed to this day that it turned out alright. After this, I went to my first ever tattoo convention in Leeds because I knew that I wanted to start up my tattoo journey, and I wanted to start to get bigger pieces by some really fantastic artists. And I got this rose tattoo, which I'll insert in a second. I also got this little lotus flowers here and 2 tattoos on my feet. Now, forearm pain, and the reason I was quickly filling up my forearm was because the forearm doesn't really hurt at all. It hurts, but the pain is next to nothing. I didn't really feel it. So if you are wanting your first ever tattoo, I would highly suggest getting it on your forearm and the inside of your arm here. But your feet, on the other hand, I don't think I'd have a foot tattoo ever again. As much as I absolutely love them, I do think that it is a very, very painful place, especially when you are getting into tattoos. It's bearable, but it's very unpleasant, so it might not be the best place to get your first ever tattoo. But as you're building up to knowing what it feels like, then obviously tattoo the hell out of your feet. But for me personally, I don't think I'm going to touch them again. Then after that, I had this big boom of, I love tattoos, I'm going to get a tattoo wherever I can. I messaged the guy who did the rose tattoo on my forearm, and we did these lovely shoulder caps here, which to this day still, I love them. I just love how pretty they make me feel. I really like floral tattoos, as you can probably guess. But I really like how it turned out and how it's healed over the years. And to be honest, the shoulder didn't hurt that bad at all either. Your arm tends to be a safe zone. Then I also messaged an artist who I saw at the convention who I didn't get a chance to get in with. And we did this lovely kind of heart design too. So I've got that there. When I'm picking tattoo designs, 50% of the conversation comes from me and 50% of the ideas and conversation comes from the tattoo artist. I always set out boundaries of things that I really dislike, such as I'm terrified of snakes, so I don't really want a snake on my body. But you put out your boundaries and then they'll work with that. And I always find that when you are getting a tattoo, just be easy breezy with it. Put your trust into a tattoo artist because they've done this for however many years they have. Sometimes the best thing to do is just let them do their own thing. So moving on, I knew that I wanted to start and have a full sleeve tattoo. So I contacted an artist and we outlined how we were going to start with it, let them know my ideas, and we got started. On this arm, originally it was bare. All I had was the crescent moon here, and I basically put all my faith in him and I said, I want this incorporated into one big design. Can you do it? Off with the mandala on the shoulder. Now, at the time, this took about 6 sessions to do. So if you are wanting a sleeve tattoo, sleeves don't happen in a day. Sleeves take a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of patience really, because all in all, I think this took about 2 years to finish. Because it's not even just, say you have your first session, you've got all the line work done. You really have to come back in about 6 to 12 weeks because your skin is still healing. They can't go back in when your skin's crusty and nasty. So they will go back through kind of 6 to 12 weeks later, and then obviously you've got to save up for a full day session. So sometimes a full day session is like 350 quid. So, you know, it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience, but you will get there in the end. When you sit down and think, I want a sleeve, just be prepared that your arm might not be finished for a year. It is very long in terms of work, but it's so worth it in the end. But yeah, so we started off with the mandala on my shoulder here. After that, we did all the shading in here, and then we moved on to the forearm. And from memory, we did all the lines on the forearm and the elbow first. And then we did all the shading and the blackout. And considering now, at that point, I'd had my whole arm done. And then I had a full-on understanding of the pain scales of the arm. The worst place for me was my wrist. Those bits there, it just makes your skin crawl. I found it absolutely horrific, especially when you're getting larger work done here. It's all really sensitive, and it feels like somebody is just going at you, and it's horrible. Next, in terms of pain, was the elbow. See, ink doesn't really heal very well in the elbow too. It basically just makes you bone chatter. It's horrible. And then the third kind of worst place is the crease of your elbow. Again, it's very sensitive like your wrist. There's a lot of nerve ending there. It just wasn't a very pleasant experience. But yeah, I mean, I am still ridiculously happy that I got this done. I love the style of it. It's more flowy. Because we had these roses here, we just matched on this side with some leaves here. So it gives me a little bit more symmetry here. But yeah, that was a quick story of my first ever sleeve. This video is going to take forever, I'm very sorry. Moving on from that, I got my first ever leg tattoo, which I'll put a picture of it up here now. Now, I hadn't had any tattoos on my leg. Now, I found an artist and I really loved his style. The lines are very heavy, there's not much shade, it is mainly line work. It just looked really Victorian-esque and really grungy and gothic-y, and I fell in love with his style. So I thought, yes, I'm going to get my first ever leg tattoo. Oh my god, the pain of a leg tattoo is completely different to your arms. Your arms are like, it's like a scratchy feeling. Your legs are like a burning feeling, and it was my most painful ever tattoo, and it's in a really fleshy area, and ever since I've been able to get on with getting my legs tattooed. But for some reason this one was just absolute pure hell. I hated it. I hated every second of it, and I was so happy when it was done. And the design itself, as you can see, it's a rose growing out of a skull. It was meant to have a snake going around it, and I said to the artist, you know, do your own thing and I'll see the design afterwards. And he showed me the design with the snake, and I just said to him, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I don't like the snake part. So we took that out. He was very happy with taking it out. So that was my first ever leg tattoo. Then next up I got my ears tattooed, which I will again put a picture of them here. Now the reason I got my ears tattooed was because when I was younger I had a really bad piercing infection that basically melted my ear, and I was left with ears that looked different to each other, and it was always a big insecurity of mine. So I thought, right, let's go, I'll get my ear tattooed so I can add a little bit more symmetry back into my ears. In terms of pain, it wasn't actually that painful. It's difficult in the position, you're kind of lying like that and they're leaning on top of your head, but it doesn't hurt so much. The worst part is the noise. It just feels like something is obviously rattling against your head, but the noise was horrific. It didn't take very long at all. If you are wanting ear tattoos, the pain is fine, but the feeling of something pressing up against your skull like that is awful. But I am so happy I got them done. I love them to pieces, and they are relatively hidden most of the time. You don't really see them, but you know, if I pull my hair back, you know, you can see them just chilling there, and I think they're pretty, they're nice, I like them. Next up we did this big beautiful skull here. I love skulls. I love gothic type things. I get them just because I like the design, I like how they look, I like how they make me feel. There's no real meaning behind why I like skulls, I just like them. So we got this skull here, which was relatively pretty painless. And then I also really love Victorian style design. So I got this skull, which I'll put a picture in, this hand with the eye in, this hat because it flowed really nicely in my arm, and this building as well because we had a really awkward space that we needed to fill. We also put this little head here with the, you know, the old-fashioned like medical book head things, this poison bottle and a tooth. Just mainly space fillers. I just wanted to, because at this point this arm's almost done, I really wanted to mimic it on the other side and start to really fill up this arm too. After that I got my fingers tattooed. Always felt like I've had sausage fingers. I wanted something pretty on them, and these were hand poked. Hand poke tattoo, you've just got one needle and the artist does it themselves, so they just go through and what does that mean in terms of pain, and what does that mean in terms of time? A machine tattoo gun would probably have got this done an hour. This took about 9 hours all in all to get all of the patterns and design in. In terms of pain too, I found it less painful. It is less painful. The healing I found was better because it's less intrusive. Thing about finger tattoos is they will never ever stay crisp. You use your fingers every single day. Think of all the times you do the washing up, think of all the times that you clean using your tattoos will fall out. So for example, it's probably not going to focus, but as you can see on the top, the design just isn't that crisp anymore, which is fine. But if I'm being honest, I can just go back and get it re-added in if I want to. I also got the other hand as well, but I don't want to show you that hand because my nail's fallen off. So just a quick overview, this was Flash. So this was Halloween Flash art. As you notice, I've only got 2 colour tattoos. I don't know why, I prefer black and grey personally, but we've got the Deadly Nightshade here. And then we also did some more space fillers with these little roses. After this Deadly Nightshade tattoo, I decided that I wanted to get a tattoo on my leg. I've got this beautiful moon design here. Now this isn't like a lot of style of tattoos that I got, but I saw this artist called Nat and I saw some of her flash work, and I really liked how unique her style was. The designs were absolutely stunning. And then after that I went to a lovely lady called Lindsay, and we started to do some more floral designs on my legs. So I first saw was this sunflower, which I'll put here. Didn't actually hurt that badly. We then did the pumpkin, which I'll put here. Some little rose space fillers in my arm, which You can tell are new because they're relatively darker. It's like here and here. And then I wanted to move on to starting to get a leg sleeve design together, which you'll see here. So we're now working on this absolutely gorgeous floral leg piece. And pain-wise, it wasn't that bad. To be honest, the worst part of it was my actual kneecap. That was horrific. But Lindsay had this spray, which basically works when you've broken the skin and it's got lidocaine in it. And she sprayed it a few times and it meant that the pain went away. So that was, praise the Lord, amazing. Gives you about an hour of relief from the pain. One thing with it though, and I noticed, and Lindsay did warn me, is the healing process does take a lot longer. I don't know why, but it does. And actually when it wears off, I remember driving home and the pain my leg was in was horrible. And that's because obviously stabbed with a needle thousands of times, not felt any pain, probably gone past your limit. And then when your body starts to feel it, it's gonna swell. This new wave of pain is gonna hit you. So if you are offered to have this spray, obviously use it if you're in agony and you just want to get through the next couple hours, but just please be aware that it will hurt so much afterwards. Oh, and I forgot, there's another tattoo on my shin. So I got this just before I was getting the floral piece, and I got this lovely Plague Doctor on my shin. The reason I wanted the Plague Doctor was my little reminder of 2020, because it's been a pretty bad year for everybody, and I wanted something on my leg just to look back and go, ah, we got through it. And a Plague Doctor I thought was very fitting. So I think that is all my tattoos. I think I've probably missed one or two, but from memory that is all my tattoos. And I know this was a very, very long video of just talking constantly about what I've got on my body, but it's nice to see it in a little bit up close and personal. But yeah, tattoos, love them. I only have one tattoo coming up in the future, and that is a jaw tattoo. I think I'm gonna put it on my leg somewhere. Afterwards, I want to completely fill my legs. I don't know with what yet. We'll see where that happens. Then I'm going to move on to my back, and then if I still want tattoos after all of that and I'm not completely broke, then I will move on to this area. But yeah, just to close off this video now, thank you so much for watching with me. This took a hell of a long time to film, and I really hope you guys enjoyed just seeing up close of what my tattoos are. If you do have any questions, please feel free to put them down in the comment box. And if you enjoyed this video and you would like to see more of this type of content, please feel free to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I am starting out. I'm going to be posting videos every Friday, and I would just absolutely love if you could come join me every time. But yeah, have a lovely day. Thank you so much for watching, and take care. Bye.